So what this site provides for me is a really good real-world example of the problems that farmers are facing out in Arkansas in soybean weed control. So it's a very good location for us, and that's why we chose it to do our soybean work. So the basic way we go about conducting this weed control research, again, we start with mostly a natural infestation, so we don't have to spread any weed seed here. We come in and we try to use methods of putting in these plots that are exactly the same that a grower would use. I mean, we come in, we work the ground. We have some trials where we burn down and plant into a stale seed bed. So we try to duplicate the methods and materials that farmers use when they establish their beans. We do this exact same thing here when we establish our research plots. The plots that you can see behind me and that we're sitting in is replicated research. We do all publishable data. We typically will have 4 replications of each treatment, and our trials range anywhere from 5 or 6 treatments to maybe up to 20 or 30 treatments depending on what we're looking at. So it's basic applied research. 90% of the things that we look at out here are available to farmers right now. We have different eco zones in Arkansas that we grow soybeans in. We have beans that are grown on heavy ground or buckshot ground. Through our grants and through our funds that we receive through the Soybean Promotion Board, you know, one of the things that enables us to do is have multiple locations around the state. So rather than trying to duplicate what somebody is doing in southeast Arkansas, we have a soybean location in southeast Arkansas. We also have soybeans in Kaiser, Pine Tree, Lone Oak, Stuttgart, and then all the way up here in Newport. So we do a pretty good job of covering the state. Without the kind of funding we get through soybean checkoff dollars, you know, we wouldn't be able to do the multiple locations that we do around the state that again enable us to duplicate a lot of different farming operations that different growers may have, different conditions that those guys are farming under. So here at this location, we've been doing research again on Palmer pigweed control for quite some time now, and we've learned some pretty critical things when it comes to pigweed. First of all, growers have to be proactive. They have to understand and know that they have the problem, and they have to get set up to deal with it at the beginning of the year, and they need to have a plan. That plan may be that they're going to grow Roundup Ready soybeans, which the pigweed, we know they're resistant to Roundup, which means they have to implement a plan knowing that glyphosate is not going to kill those pigweed. Or they may make the decision to go Liberty Link soybeans if the problem is bad enough. Another important thing that we've learned out here is the use of residual herbicides. We've had to rediscover residual herbicides. We went for probably 10 years in an almost all Roundup Ready system where growers just planted their beans, waited on the weeds to come up, and then sprayed them. We've learned that that doesn't work anymore. We have to do something at planting time. We have to, again, plan ahead, knowing that we have the problem. And then probably the third biggest thing that we've learned has been application timing. We cannot let these pigweeds get as big as some of the ones that I'm looking at out here right now. We have to make our applications, whether it's in Roundup Ready or Liberty Link, ever how we're trying to control them when these things are 2 to 3 inches tall. So if we let them get too big, they'll get away from us. These are some of the most important recommendations that we found over the last 3 or 4 years of working with this weed. Our goal after we find out all this great information is to get it out in the state, and we're very lucky in Arkansas to still have a very strong county agent program. We take this information out directly to the counties in the form of grower meetings and research bulletins and through trainings with county agents so that they can take that information and then pass it on to their growers. Also, every piece of data that we develop here, everything that we learn goes into our publication, the MP44 Recommended Chemicals for Weed and Brush Control in Arkansas, which is updated every year. The research that we do here is fully funded by checkoff dollars through the Soybean Promotion Board. And quite frankly, without their support, we would not be able to run nearly as large of a program or as an effective a program as we do. The other thing that Soybean Promotion Board funds do is allow us to work for the farmer. We can be an unbiased source of information. We can do whatever trials we feel are necessary to give growers answers to the problems they need answers to right now.